So please like and share the show. I'm grateful for you being here. Thank you, Cheese Slice. Thanks, Jimmy, who's moderating. And let's bring our guests on. Are you ready? Are you ready, Cheese Slice? We're just hooking up to YouTube. Hello, gentlemen.
Yo, what up? Thank you so much.
Yo.
Thank you for having us on.
Thank you for being on. I saw your show the other day with Cheney. Where's Paranoid American?
Yeah, he might have to log out and log back in.
So your book is coming out November 19th. Is that what?
That's when the documentary for sure will be out, and the book right now is completed. And
Hi, Thomas.
I have the graphic artist making the cool slides for copyright purposes, so it could be printed. But it looks even better. So we get like ancient pictures of the Cloaca Maxima, where Cloacina Venus was protecting the sewer systems. And so there's these ancient artifacts that show it, and this graphic designer, utilizing the AI in his art, is able to reproduce it that looks even better than anything online. So I'm very excited. So hopefully that comes out on National Toilet Day.
So tell people that maybe they didn't see our last show about the Smaht Toilets.
Wicked Smaht Toilets. So in the future, in 2040, probably, maybe even sooner, because National Toilet Day is dedicated for Goal 6 of an agenda called 2030, which is straight connected to the UN. They have a whole holiday for Goal 6, and this is the year of water at Davos. And this is the Smaht Toilet takeover. Before the world was locked down worldwide, where every government held hands and agreed to lock down the peasants before relinquishing the AI to the populace, we had people part of the Gates studying fecal matter at the dinner tables. So this topic is strange and bizarre, but when you actually do look into the smart toilet takeover and the sewer surveillance systems, it checks out 100% factual, accurate conspiracy, going all the way back to taxing the filth in the ancient days.
Do you want to say anything, Paranoid American? I have a few things to say to that.
Donut was fishing around a little bit for like a year, maybe. You said like maybe 2040. It's funny how all this lines up because Ray Kurzweil in the 70s, I think, he's the one that predicted AGI, which is like the artificial general intelligence, which is where it's good at everything. And that's supposed to be in 2029. And he also predicted singularity to be in 2045. So maybe the smart toilet and the singularity like will both coincide in like a really weird, odd way.
So I want to say a few things. If we hearken back to 2020, that we initially with the Rona regime,
one of my favorite regimes,
right? A memorable one. So we all remember going out to get toilet paper. And well, I didn't, but now is the time maybe with the Cyclospora. Also, they were saying there was a phase before the fomite phase where there was the idea that it was coming through the toilets. And now with Cyclospora and what is happening in the waterways, it's like they were kind of teasing for what's going on now. Because also with Cyclospora, there's been tons of, I'm segueing a little, but I'll go back to the Smaht Toilets. There's tons of false positives, right? Whereas during the pandemic, no one paid attention to the PCR thresholds. No one talked about the 90% plus false positives. So now they're confusing the people by acknowledging PCR cycle thresholds and saying false positives. So back to the Smaht Toilets. I was talking to a girlfriend, and her friend is a plumber, and he was having the explosive diarrhea, but it wasn't from eating lettuce. It was from doing a plumbing job. And he also, she told me, without knowing your work, I brought it up later. She said that he was installing a $50,000 toilet,
Oh wow,
right?
that's a quality product right there.
So
$50,000.
I think
porcelain's raw.
those make the 4K resolution anal prints.
Yeah, that's next level. Yeah, so these smart toilets, they want to give everyone a unique anal code, a unique anal print, just like WorldCoin is going to scan everybody's iris to verify that they're not the AI, so they can go onto the dating websites or Facebook or social media. And this will be credited with a $42 cryptocurrency. Now, I believe that the blockchain has moved to the sewer system through the sewer surveillance. And this is very dystopic in a lot of ways, because you'll be able to see how people are sick or what they're eating or what's going on in a populace, which has already been done during the lockdowns. This was
Right.
happening during the lockdowns.
Yeah.
And I take it so far that they'll even be able to tap into the ancient gut feelings, perhaps with studying what's coming out through the bodily fluids. And this goes down a whole nother pellet trail, where you could even say through these bodily fluid rituals that we're seeing on the world stage with this eclipse that we're in, with all these celebrity sacrifices, even the eclipse energetic window that we're still in for the next 3 days, actually it lasts all the way until 2027, I believe, until June. So it lasts for a while.
Yeah, they say eclipses can last 6 months afterwards, the impact.
So that's
Is
not
there a delay?
2027. No, I don't think so. Is there?
Okay.
So
continue.
The eclipses that are happening right now, they could activate, because it's Luna. You're bringing up the lunatics. That's where we get the word lunatic, is from Luna, which is always depicted with a bunny. If we go back to the Maya goddess of the moon. But the interesting thing is with these eclipse rituals, going back to Mesopotamia, I believe, they would be very wary and take precautions so the kings wouldn't be sacrificed for the eclipse, or just an untimely death of an eclipse. The eclipse has been long associated with the passing of a ruler or a king. And on this eclipse, 2 monarchs passed away. The youngest monarch and the oldest monarch both died on the eclipse. Now, I believe this was connected to all this ritual.
Can we segue just a moment into Dolly Parton?
Yeah.
I was listening to your show, both of you, with Cheney. I was when Dolly the sheep came out, I was doing an internship in Toronto for Discovery Channel, and I don't remember the scientist's name, but actually was one of the first to speak to the creator of Dolly. I also remember, have fond memories going with my dad to watch 9 to 5 with Dolly Parton. But I wasn't very aware that she was a Luciferian. I know that she took one of her songs and turned it into vaccine. So
Yeah, the Jolene.
I think you found out, you also didn't know that Dolly was named the sheep after Dolly Parton.
No, I had no idea, which is funny. And the thread, we're just going all over the place, but that thread of cloning, I was studying how does the cyclosporiasis, the explosive diarrhea parasite, how does it have sex, right? And how does it reproduce and mate? And it starts off with cloning itself. It's asexual, and then it clones itself thousands of times. Then it will become a man or a woman, and then it will start the mating process.
Inside your body? Inside your body?
I believe so. And then it turns into an egg kind of thing, shaped thing. It's not literally an egg.
It's an oocyte. Oocyte. Or I'm not pronouncing, but it's
I can't
OOC.
pronounce it. Yeah.
It sounds very left wing.
Maybe. And then it comes out through the turds, and then if it's incubated in warm, humid weather for over a week, then that's when it becomes contagious, and that's what people are catching.
And to also say that it's only very conveniently in human feces. So that's convenient, and that it does behave like toxoplasmosis in the sense that it can modify behavior. I wrote a piece way before its time called How I Lost My Partner to a Parasite. I took a year to write and research and another year to sell. I ended up selling it to Quillette before they went woke. But I witnessed an ex go to Haiti, film a voodoo ritual. He was one of the first white people there. And so there was the spiritual kind of parasite. And then there was the physical ones found in his poop until he named the parasite Edgar, and then he defended the parasite. So I had a very intimate experience watching someone kind of get modified by their behavior. And if people have watched, I don't know if either of you have watched, it's a Marvel series, Legion, where the main character has a parasite, but he's torn because the parasite has become part of his persona. Have you guys seen Legion on FX?
This is like 10 years ago, right?
It was really good. Maybe has it been already 10 years? Maybe.
I think so. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
The connection to movies plays right into a lot of the rituals, what we've seen with the eclipse and the passing through the two eclipse windows where the death comes into the threes, with Hayden Panettiere, who started a show called Heroes, which symbols of the eclipse. She was also communicating with the Illuminati dolphins in a bathtub right before this happened. Her last poster, her last billboard advertisement was her in a bathtub. In these bathtub rituals we see with the eclipse or a full moon, with Matthew Perry, with Whitney Houston, with Aaron Carter. This is a pattern recognition of something going on.
So who are you talking about with the dolphin? I didn't hear the name of the celebrity.
Yeah, so Hayden Panettiere, she just recently passed, and her last marketing campaign, just like Brittany Murphy's last movie, Deadline, the poster of Brittany Murphy before she passed, she was in a bathtub. Now, Hayden Panettiere, she was also in a bathtub as well in the poster for protecting the dolphins. So very strange stuff.
If you want to show, if there's anything you want to show, also someone says the audio is slightly out of sync. Is that still the case? I don't know if
it could be. It's coming out fine for me.
Yeah, sounds fine for me.
Okay.
So I did share the screen if Cheese Slice wants to share it, just so you can get some of the visuals of what I'm talking about. This is Hayden Panettiere. She passed away. She's part of the show called Heroes, which shows an eclipse, and she passed away right after the eclipse happened. And this is an image of her fighting for the dolphins in front of the bathtub.
PETA, which is full of fuckery too. I mean, PETA is it's full of corruption, another nonprofit.
I mean, all these the Save the Planet things are straight connected to transhumanism, whether that's Julian Huxley creating the wildlife fund or something. Well, he's the one who coined the term transhumanism.
How old was she, that girl, Hayden?
She was 33 or 36, I believe. No, 36. She was 36.
And she died how?
Well, the details we don't really know. We don't really know.
Overdose, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, which goes into drowning, because
Right.
she could have been drowning just like Marilyn Monroe on substances. But I'll just show a couple images of just this topic.
Oh, so sorry, but
Yeah.
go back. Brittany Murphy, is she alive? Wasn't she? Is Brittany Murphy still alive?
No, she died.
She also died too.
Yeah, right after this
In the
movie
bathroom.
poster.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry. So go on.
So on August 6th, I made this video, which I won't share any of the Ariana Grande photos because I recently got in trouble for doing them on my channel. But she's drenched in bodily fluids. And at the exact same time, this guy named Hilton Perez was drenched in his bodily fluids as well. Now, this ties directly into the Mesopotamian practice during the eclipse, where people would mutilate their genitalia and other parts of their body so the king wouldn't die during the eclipse. And this is all happening right before the eclipse. In this video, August 6th, before the eclipse, we're talking about the celebrities' ritual for eclipse sacrifice. And so right there and underneath, you can see it says some sort of big world leader will pass away. And so an accurate prediction of predictive programming in movies and films and all this stuff. And these are the two monarchs who passed away on this eclipse, because we've been just documenting that. This is interesting. I'd like to get y'all take on this, but yeah. I study the different symbols, and one of the symbols in the Da Vinci Code is the bloodline. That's the huge thing. They're looking for the bloodline in the movie, and this red carpet, which the red carpet is like a bloodline.
Yeah.
And it goes directly straight to Dolly Parton. And it looks like the bloodline's connecting to her, and it looks like she's maybe giving birth or something with all this blood at the bottom here. That's what I see when I look at this. That's what that image is.
Well, I see obviously the checker floor. People knew that Dolly wore wigs and had huge boobies, and which were like fake. I mean, so who's Dolly Parton? Where does she come from? Do either of you know her heritage or how she was raised as a Luciferian?
I mean, personally, I think that Dolly Parton was a suit that different people got to wear. Like you just mentioned, a lot of people consider that was fake. There's even conspiracy theories that go back into the 90s and early 2000s that her entire body was covered in tattoos, and that she was wearing these long sleeve skin tight suits that would go from the ankle to the wrist in order to cover up all of these body tattoos. So I mean, if you're already wearing an entire bodysuit and wigs and everything, then really how much do you have to change? You just have to kind of match the physique and the face just enough before all the makeup and everything goes on. So it wouldn't be that crazy to consider it was just like a character that a bunch of people were allowed to play, almost like John Malkovich or something.
Yeah,
that was a great movie.
Being John Malkovich, yeah,
I liked it.
Imagine being Dolly Parton, except that they're all Freemasons essentially.
So do you know where her upbringing? There's also Dollywood, which I only found that out the other day, that there's a Dollywood.
One of the only celebrities that have their own theme park actually named after them.
Yeah, and another thing I want to add on before I forget about the movies, how we're connecting all these movies to everything. The AI goes live in Skynet into Terminator franchise, I believe, on August 29th. So tomorrow, Skynet, I believe, actually gets activated and goes live. And these AI predictive programming goes back so far. Even the 50s, there was a book called, I'm forgetting the name. It's The Man Who Wants to Scream, or something like Scream, and his mouth, he can't scream. And it's the exact symbol that we see in the Matrix movie. In the Matrix film, that entire film's about the AI taking over as well. So when it comes to movies with Taco Bell, during the lockdowns, there was a film called Contagion that was all over Netflix right before it happened, and it was being promoted. And the one thing the girl ate was Taco Bell. That's what somebody on the
This is in the movie Contagion?
That's somebody on my podcast came on and said that, so I believe him. I gotta watch that movie.
Contagion also, they used part of the script that I was tweeting about the similarities with the wet market, and kind of ripped that off for the pandemic. So I didn't know about the tacos, but sorry, go ahead.
Well, even Demolition Man too.
To steer back into like the whole Smaht toilet thing too, that these outbreaks that we're seeing right now, they're basically going to be the thing that ushers in mandatory smart toilets, at least in public spaces, which is honestly going to be even marketed towards this, that it's just another way to track people, because once and it doesn't even need your actual anal print, right? It can track you based on the things that it knows where you've gone to eat, and then it's going to be advertised the same way that in 2020, I think in Canada, everyone had to have like an app installed on their phone that was mandatory, and it would keep track of everyone else you came in contact with, because it was constantly pinging everyone around you with like Bluetooth or something, and it would like keep a track. So that way, if any of those people in the future got hit with a positive test, the government would have a way to track like every single person they had come in contact. So that is a very invasive version, right? You have to install this thing on your phone, and it's like actively. But if they just start doing it through smart toilets, it's very passive, right? Yeah. Just you putting your DNA into the sewage system is you giving consent and giving up all rights and properties and privacy of that, and that'll be the easiest way to track somebody. And like your poop doesn't lie, right? Like if you're talking like, oh, I don't do drugs, or if you've got insurance claims out or whatever, unless you're taking care of your entire, sewage system yourself, then you're basically going to be snitching on yourself every single time.
I would assume that it will also look at the pee-pee, not only caca.
Well, yeah, why wouldn't it just look for everything? It can even make sure that you're taking your medication. You know what I mean?
Like, absolutely.
Because there's so much pharmaceuticals in the system, the water system already. They could probably even measure, like, okay, how much more do we need to dial up the fluoride or dial up the Xanax in the water supply?
And Robert Anton Wilson was onto this back in the I don't know when, the 80s or the 90s, where it was probably during the Reagan era. I don't know what year that was, but he was onto this, on how the government is going into people's bladders via the piss tests, in his book Sex, Drugs, and Magic, or something like that.
Do either of you remember or have watched Songbird 2023, which was the first film that had no two actors in the same proximity? It was a Michael Bay film, but in there, the abuelita, they know that she has fever, right? And then you have to do a scan check, and you have to check in. But the point is that they will know what's going on with you, right? They'll say, the interesting also Cyclospora, you need to look for it. It's one stool test that the CDC insists on using. And sorry, I jumped to Cyclospora, but with Cyclospora, also they are insisting, the CDC, not to take silver, not to take an antibiotic, for a parasite, to not take ivermectin, to not take fenbendazole. It's emphatic saying. So it made me wonder, well, like ticks, maybe these are gain of function parasites where they have a bacterial component. And then yesterday on Instagram, I saw someone showing some shower head for water lice in your shower head. Like, what's that all about? So if they are putting Cyclospora, because we still don't know where it came from. They'll say Taylor Farms or Taco Bell, but there's just so much confusion on where.
Those are all the companies that didn't pay the shakedown money, I assume, in the entire supply chain, because the closer you look into our supply chain, if it's lettuce, it's only coming from like one of two farms in the entire United States, and that they supply a large majority of the entire planet. It all comes from the same places. So if there's an outbreak in one, then it's like half the world is being affected. And usually they're just trying to figure out like what leg that batch ended up in. But we're talking about like if one supply chain can get infected, the whole world can get infected almost overnight, which is why I think that they get so crazy about trying to like find the last little leg on being able to track people down from it.
Yeah, in regards to Cyclospora, I wasn't paying attention until I saw 16 states, 25 states, 35 states, 41 states, 45 states. So seeing how they're amping it up and the confusion. So I'd like to share a little bit about some of the things I found about Cyclospora, because it is my hunch to be like, I wonder if they've looked at the electromagnetic properties of this parasite. What are the effing chances that, yes, absolutely.
Well, I gotta say, in this last year, thinking deeply on the topic of smart toilets, sewer surveillance, it has been a majority of only women who are even brave enough to go down this research path, which I find
really
interesting.
Why is that? Why?
I don't know why, but the topic, when I'm talking about the Illuminati toilets and all these topic stuff, I'm getting a lot of information from women that are like interested in this topic. And I think it's maybe because they're like caretakers or, maybe they're into health more. I don't know why, but it's interesting. In the movie connection, one more thing is that the Will Smith movie, who was supposed to play Neo from The Matrix, he was in a film called I Am Legend, which is an older film called The Omega Man. And they do these tests on him to see if he can survive or not. And when they do the test on him, it comes off false. But he's like, no, do it again. And they do it again. I think it was on his kid. And then it was like, oh, no, he passed. So these tests were automatically giving people that they were infected, in a sense. And that film was released the exact day the medication of the lockdown was released as well. So very strange when you look at the astrological dates to these movies and real life events.
So I would like to share with you so in 1999, Dalton, Peething, Pathin, and Smith published the preliminary conference paper, Electrorotation of Oocytes of Cyclospora. 2001, the main peer-reviewed experiment exposed that Cyclospora oocytes, which I know I'm saying it wrong, oocytes, to a rotating alternating electric field ranging 100 hertz to 10 megahertz. The applied field made individual oocytes physically rotate. Their speed and direction depend upon their dielectric properties, primarily electric conductivity and permittivity of the wall membranes and interior. Research reported distinct electrical response, spectra associated apparently viable versus non-viable, unsporulated versus spore-related, changes in membrane and internal conductivity. The most pronounced difference between unsporulated and spore-related oocytes appeared between 20 and 200 kHz hertz. So basically, let me just see. The experiment was tiny. Only 19 initially unsporulated Cyclospora oocytes collected from 3 infected people in Glasgow who had recently traveled abroad. Because no validated vital dye test or animal model existed for Cyclospora, the viable versus non-viable interpretation was inferred from the electrical spectra and morphology. Anyway, so the point is here, with if you think of Resident Evil, that initially there's a virus, and then the premise is then there's a parasite, but the parasite doesn't make you full-on zombie, but it can modify your behavior. What say you?
Wow, that's very interesting. Now, if I'm getting this correct, they were doing experiments with certain frequencies on the parasite. Is that what they were doing?
Like kind of Teslophoresis to see if certain electrical impulses would modify the behavior of the Cyclospora that's now growing in your gut lining, because it embeds itself in the gut lining. And when it sheds, it's a full-on egg. It's very interesting that it's only in human feces. So it's accurate to say researchers measured Cyclospora's dielectric response to alternating electrical fields. Okay, and it's of course it's not evidence. I have to say that Cyclospora broadcasts a signal or is magnetically steered. But hey. I want to.
Well, they've got these frequencies down for the plants. If they want to grow a garden bigger to beans, to whatever it is, they know the different frequencies and the range hertz that you were talking about. This number 10, I was just reading about. I'll go grab that book and look at that 10 hertz. But it's interesting because the communication with these parasites or bacteria that we were talking about with Clive Baxter's research, this guy that was a CIA who was putting up lie detector tests on the plants, that he was able to see that they responded to intent of somebody's intentions, and even burning the bacteria in yogurt, that they would respond to that. They respond to the cats, they respond to music. Even though they don't have a nervous central system like this parasite doesn't have ears, they hear the music, but the frequency it could feel or something like that. So this information that you're bringing is absolutely and amazing.
Are you guys familiar with old school Rife tech, like the old Royal Rife tech?
Totally, yeah.
That was basically his whole thing, was trying to tune to different parasites and different organisms, and once you could find like the frequency that particular organism resonated at, you would just dissolve it. That was his entire premise.
I've sat with Rife machine in LA to deal with different, you put a program and you sit with it. And so I mean, it's fascinating given this track and trace surveillance of 5G existence. I also looked to see if there was any link to John Hopkins and Cyclospora. And of course there was. A 1998 study involving John Hopkins examined 11 wastewater samples from a primary oxidization lagoon in the same community. Cyclospora-like oocytes were observed microscopically in 7 samples. Sporulated oocytes were observed directly in 2 samples.
In the lake. Come on. Someone in between those apartment buildings was pooping in the lake, is what it sounds like.
Well, the paper established that wastewater could contaminate drinking or irrigation water and ultimately reproduce. And also there was a lot of work done in Peru, interestingly, on Cyclospora. So I'm still doing research to put together an article.
I'm
I
gonna.
think the Navy too, since the Navy operates on like closed loop systems. So if someone brings it onto the boat, then that would definitely be an easy vector, because that's usually, it's like once it finds a spot to kind of thrive, it'll keep thriving until someone figures out where it came from, and then basically, I don't like, how do you even get rid of it? Just good old Windex or what?
Index.
Mhm.
Oh, what is the movie?
Light
The
Lysol.
Greek my Greek wedding with the Windex. It's a thing. So yes, every living thing has an electrical frequency. It's just very interesting that they specifically have studied this parasite for its electrical properties, right? To see why, por qué.
I'm reading this book right now called Occult Horizons by Reza Georgiani. And in the
Wow.
first essay, it goes into the spectral sentience in animals and plants. And plants have music preferences going into jazz and classical music that they'll grow towards the music. And in this is interesting about the sound treatments that they're using for the plants to enhance their immune systems. It goes into the sound waves at 1 kHz and 100 decibels. So I'm guessing that's kilohertz. So at 1 kilohertz of the sound wave, it increases and enhances them. And then over here at zero point 0.4 kilohertz, it shows that rice seeds enhance root activity and stem height. So if these plants with these frequencies and these kilohertz and stuff in the acoustics has been proven to work with agriculture, what's it going to do? And they're doing these studies with the bacteria or the parasites and stuff, and they're signaling to them and communicating with them in a sense, maybe to grow them, or I don't know. And then this book, Genuflect, goes into the same toilet information where it was a story about the archons being fed via the toilet and the bodily waste, and it was connected
Wow.
to certain bloodlines.
That's wild. What's that book?
Yeah, it's called
What's it called?
It's called Genuflect, and so that's even stranger because this lady was writing about this stuff. Um, yeah, just I don't know.
I want to touch on
How
that
do you
too,
spell
'cause
genuflect? Sorry.
Genuflect. It's a book by Tracy Twyman, and she was writing about this building. Imagine like a huge skyscraper for Google, or fill in the blank with some giant global conglomerate. And every single person that worked in that building, whenever they would go to the bathroom, it was using these smart toilets to detect what was in their system. And one of the things that they were doing, I'll like shortcut to some of the more interesting parts, is that if they needed some kind of blood ritual that they were doing at the top of the building during an eclipse or whatever, and they needed the blood of a virgin, then they could actually detect whether like a woman was on her period, because they could detect blood coming through the receptacle, and then they would be able to track that woman throughout the tower. So the next time she had to go to the bathroom, they could reroute her to make sure every bathroom that was available to her would be like mysteriously out of order, or the escalator would be out of order, so that they could like direct where she would go, so that she specifically could have her blood harvested, so that it could be used for some later ritual date. And then just extrapolate that one example to, if you needed the blood of any specific, a redhead or whatever, they could determine like who was in that building, because they already know that you work for them. So it was very detailed, but the whole premise was that they were collecting other people's bodily fluids to use in occult rituals.
And another interesting thing is it was in the Bloomberg Tower, which actually has a Mithraeum underneath it. And in this Mithraeum, I believe that's where the bull sacrifices went down. So when you look at the Torabolium ritual, where they sacrifice the bull, and then like a priest or somebody would be down below in the Torabolium ritual and be drenched in the blood of the bull. And that's exactly what was going on in the Ariana Grande video. She went into this building and got drenched in this, but they were showing a bull behind her before she went into the building. So there's some strange stuff going on with all the stuff in the on the simulacrum, on the billboard.
Yeah. I mean, a few weeks ago, a psychic agent came out. I recommend people watch it.
Oh, sure, Ryder Lee.
And there's really the hintings of not only MK Ultra, but remote, not only remote viewing, but remote influence. And I believe like in a year from now, we'll see that, you know, the zombies are here and people can be modified. And I think there's like a new species of human emerging. Doesn't have a lot of brain critical thinking, but they are just running scripts. And I mean, for me, it's very evident as someone who's clairsentient, clairaudient, I could pick up a lot from the voice, but there's some human component that is now very much absent. Would you agree?
Yeah,
Have
like
you
a bunch
witnessed
of
that?
NPCs and stuff, like walking around like with no consciousness, really.
Yeah.
The other thing is the Resident Evil connection that you were tying into this umbrella corporation. We did a podcast with Anya Saru at the Spiritual Shade Room, which I think you would have a pleasure talking to this guy. He is like next level with stuff. But we did a video on the penguins, the Illuminati penguins, and he connected it to Mary Poppins. And the interesting thing is this other channel, Mind Unveiled, he released this video yesterday on the eclipse about dreams and how the gateway process, which is where we get this concept of loosh and stuff like that from the guy that was writing this, they removed page 24, which was about the dreams. And
really?
This podcast
of the gateway, what in the declassified CIA document, page 24 is missing?
It's missing, and this channel called Mind Unveiled found that page was missing, and they figured it out. It was about dreams, and it goes into going into people's dreams and modifying them, like we saw at the Super Bowl in 2021. It was fascinating. I haven't finished it. I gotta keep listening to it. But
yeah, I'd love it if you could send that to me. Is it on? Where is that?
It's on YouTube. But it's interesting
maybe
because there's books coming out right now, movies, concerts, tours, and everything has to do with out-of-body experiences. Even the inflammation in scientific studies is showing that inflammation is causing people to leave their body, to go into an out-of-body state. And during these out-of-body states, what I've been connecting it to is precognition. And so if society on a mass scale, 70% of America's populace is inflamed, having out-of-state experiences, this could open them up like a portal for other entities to take over the host in a dual occupancy that we see in movies that are all coming
There's
out.
a lot of dual occupancy going on, donuts.
And I would also be interested to know about this guy you were talking about, how he was communicating with the parasites, you were saying?
My ex?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, when he came back from Haiti, when he was there, this is before we started selling Silver Excelsior and realizing silver can help with parasites. So when he came back, I wasn't a functional medicine coach then, but I knew enough. So sent the poop out, and I sent it to my naturopath, and then we also did the Western medicine. So I wish I knew the parasite names, but I didn't know it was going to evolve into monstrosity. So at one point, if you see in nature, right, I would watch at the full moon, he would be in fetal position, be really sick, But then slowly, like in Legion, he gets even like smarter and more agile. So also in nature, when you look, they don't want to kill the host. They want to maximum occupancy, right? So obviously, if you have a parasite that's modifying a whole human, they've scored the jackpot. You may know this, but with toxoplasmosis, the cat parasite, if people consider that it makes a rat sexually attracted to a cat, I mean that's like if I woke up and like I'm attracted to an elephant today. It's like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And
Well,
with men, sorry, go ahead.
no, elephant poop is odorless because of their diets is mostly fiber because they're pretty vegetarian. Just a funny.
It's good to
I
know
dare you
that.
to stick your nose in one.
No, thank you.
I'll do it for $10.
Oh,
The economy is
elephant
not great. Right
dung. So in any case, with him, my ex, I saw him name. He's the one who named it Edgar. So he was aware. And then at a certain point, we were actually in France, and because I speak French, I found the lab, and he never followed up on it. And then told me later, I would be lonely without Edgar. Oh,
Do you
okay.
think it was because isn't it Edgar Casey, the clairvoyant, who was a medium?
No, I don't think he in his case there was any reference to Edgar Case. Well, just called
Well,
Edgar.
I mean, so I'm playing with this hypothesis right now that if you can communicate with the plants or with your pets, like Chan, this cat, is it possible to communicate with the parasites and the bacteria? And if so, could you communicate with other people's microbiome? So, like if I'm talking to somebody, but talking through them and talking straight to
Right.
their microbiome.
Right.
So it's just a fun.
Well,
little
to answer,
experiment.
I mean, if someone is self-aware, I guess they might discern, because they might discern that it's not them and it's something foreign. But chances are, if they aren't observant or self-aware, I mean, they're talking about that with voice to skull, right? That they can fool people. So one has to be really truly embodied, and even aware people. Like I was with a girlfriend in a hotel, which hasn't happened in a long time, and when the next day we went to the gas station, and I saw her buy something that was in the commercial, and I was just like, oh, that's interesting. Where I'd like to believe that I'm not controllable or programmable anymore. But so one has to be really aware of self, I think. And the parasite, I don't know with Cyclospora, if you looked at the modification capabilities of modifying behavior, but between parasites, all the 5G, all the already programming, like, are people really have free will, or are they like, no?
No, it's very, very fast. I really like what you're saying with this information. Like, I might have to prolong the book or put it in the second edition, the final flush, because this information is amazing. With the Resident Evil 2, that movie is about to be released. And it's by the same director who made this film called Weapons, which was a fantastic film, but it was about a parasite taking over the host in a zombie-like state via bodily fluid and witchcraft.
Wow.
Yeah, have you seen that movie? Weapons?
No, I might see it very soon.
I highly recommend it. I think it's
Weapon with an S or weapons?
with a W. Weapons.
What year did it come out? Do you know?
Came out like 2 years ago. We did a podcast with Paranoid and I, and yeah, it was fantastic. We did the podcast, right? Paranoid.
Yeah, we did.
That was, but it's by the same director, and he filmed it like it was playing a Grand Theft Auto game. So this new Resident Evil will be like a Grand Theft Auto game, the way that they filmed it, which I'm sure there's a purpose for that. I believe that all these films, even like the Odyssey, Courtney Turner, who you've podcast with, she broke down how this is going to have a pretty much a trickle down effect from these books that built Western civilization and changing it, because people aren't going to read the Odyssey. They're going to watch the movie. And she really put together a pretty good argument. It was a good movie. It was cool. Did you see the Odyssey?
No, I haven't seen that either.
When
did that film come out? Odyssey with EE at the end, or why?
Yeah, the Odyssey. It just came out this year, maybe a month ago. But there's this.
Oh, really? Wow.
There's a strange connection to all these films that are coming out, especially in 2025, and books are about out-of-body experiences, soul transfer, consciousness, with the Golem, maybe with The Secret of Secrets, which is the new Dan Brown book. And
every single movie is an out-of-body experience. That's the entire point, is that you're in a dark black room and you have minimal movement. You just kind of sit there facing one way, right? And you basically are disassociating from your body because it's not doing anything much, and you're vicariously living through the characters on the screen. And the whole premise of that is to get you to think about and feel things that you wouldn't in your everyday life, right? So the entire process, specifically going to a movie theater, is way more than if you're distracted at home and you've got like a million things going on. But that is probably the closest to an out-of-body experience that most people will go through that aren't into like lucid dreaming or actual OBEs or projection.
It's speaking straight to the ghost in the machine, perhaps.
Well, the Ghost in the Machine is an interesting one, because the Ghost in the Machine was the original philosophy, were these things called holons, which combines the Greek words of whole, and which means exactly what you think it does, and on, like a proton or a neutron or an electron. The on all represent that they're parts of the greater system. So he theorized the Ghost in the Machine was that there's something called a holon, and the holon means that it both is its own thing, like a human being could be like your own individual, but that you're also just a tiny little part of something so much bigger that you couldn't even imagine. The same way that an electron doesn't know it's part of a human being. It's not just the Men in Black thing where, like, you know, every atom is an entire universe, but it's kind of like that.
Well, it could say it's the collective, right? Or the hive mind, an extension of the hive mind, which I believe is a thing that they can tweak certain frequencies and modify or change a situation, change the behavior of someone who's just running scripts and NPC. Absolutely.
But you don't even need V2K. Like Dylan was saying before, what if you could talk directly to someone's biome? Well, that's like literally what every fast food restaurant and like when you go to the grocery store, every single aisle is dedicated to that, and it's dedicated to just constantly triggering your reward system to make you docile, to just realize like, oh, I'm being rewarded. Everything I'm doing is exactly what I should be doing, and that it's really not even that hard. Like that they are doing that, and it's so simple that you're probably doing it right now.
When you walk into a grocery store, they have the food cooking in the front, whether that is the bakery or the fried chicken wings right in the front. So when you walk in, you get hungry, and then you walk around, and then the vibrational musical frequencies are penetrating the people's souls, and their songs about love and family and providing. So when you're going through the aisles, you're hungry, and then you're thinking, so you start buying stuff for other people when you're in there, selling more products. And then when you go to the checkout line, it is all the magazines. No one reads magazines, but they got freaking magazines at the checkout.
I used to read the magazines.
But most people don't read them.
Period.
Right?
Anymore, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And but they're still there. And because that's the simulacrum of the hyper reality of the billboards for us to imitate the ideal image of. And so, like, it makes no sense why there's all these kings and queens in America and the royals. That's like all that. So you go to the checkout, it's always a freaking royal on the cover and about their lives and how great
Back in the
makes,
day.
makes
I
no
mean,
sense.
I would like to say that I used to be like a normal person that could go into the grocery store, but now I have to even talk to myself to go into a Walgreens because as I've expanded consciousness to, I'm allergic. I'm really identifying as Trinity. I know it sounds like I'm just very sensitive to the AC, to the fluorescent lights, to the shit music they're playing. Like even customer service, it's all weaponization. That hold music, those frequencies. I even believe they hire the helium girls. Oh, they all sound like that. It's all to this. Yeah, why are they? Hello, can I help you? And the
Yeah,
one of the last times I
there's something
said
to
to,
that, though. Yeah, I'm
I
not.
said, so were you sexually abused when you were young? What do you mean? She kind of glitched out, and I said, well, your vocal cords often get stunted when there's trauma, and then they hung up. Yeah.
Wow. And also, I have a friend who studies geopolitics, and he has, because we talk, he's my friend, but we talk about he thinks that the supermarkets are going to be like the big thing for a ritual to go down. I guess I won't talk too much about it. I'll say that.
Like Natural Born Killers style?
Probably. Yeah, that movie was great too.
I love that movie.
Yeah, that movie was sick.
It was like when I was growing up, a litmus test to boys. Like if I remember there was a cute, I had a crush on him for a long time. He was a football player, but boy, was he dumb. And there was like nothing when like no banter or talking about Natural Born Killers, which is such a fantastic, it's multi-layered. It's a great film. Great soundtrack too.
I really like movies a lot. I watch a lot of movies.
Research. I just watched Scanner Darkly. Helen of Destroy. Yeah, that was tripped out.
That's from Philip K. Dick, I believe, his book, The Scanner Darkly. I saw that movie back, and I was in film school about 20 years ago, and I was in Sedona and totally faded. And then watching that movie, it was a trip watching that movie.
It's a trip not faded.
That's Scanner Darkly is a line from Corinthians of Through a Glass Darkly, which interestingly enough is right after one of the most popular wedding quotes they use in weddings from Corinthians, which is time to put away childish things, which is immediately followed by Through a Glass Darkly.
Interesting.
And Corinthians, they got that awesome thing that they say at the weddings, love is patient, love is kind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
have you seen, it made me think, have you seen Palm Springs 2020?
What, Palm Springs? Or Plum Springs? Palm?
Is it Palm? Yeah, Palm Spring. It's
I've been
Sandberg.
there too.
So that's a great film about kind of a play on reincarnation and looping. I'm seeing a lot of.
I love that movie. And
you have watched it?
Going back, yeah, that was a great film. But he's stuck in this freaking where it's just groundhog.
It's an analogy though to reincarnation and looping and doing the same shit over and over again. And I've been really exploring.
Goosebumps.
Yeah. Well, why? Because it just rings true. I've been playing with quantum jumping, and I had Cynthia Sue Larson, who is integral in educating people about the Mandela effect. So the other day I went to the beach, and I was on this one narrative in my head that was no bueno, along the lines of surveillance and targeting. And I danced by myself for 2 hours on the beach. And then I read a paragraph on quantum jumping. And this person that I was thinking was a Fed, I basically gave prayer to them, gratitude, and I was like, I'm getting off this fucking narrative. I can't do this narrative. And then shortly after, the reality changed. So I just been playing around with.
So what is quantum jumping? I don't know what that is.
It would be considered like timeline jumping, where you're obviously it has to be your state of being, but Cynthia was speaking about how she felt like in a different life, or I don't know exactly, but a hunted human, and then feeling into how good it could be, because it's really, manifestation is not just saying these mantras. If your subconscious has full of crap in it, it's not going to work. But by working with the subconscious or working with the feeling, and then changing your reality. I'll give you another example. When I went to years ago in LA, and they said, you have fibromyalgia, you have lupus, there's no cure, here's some medication. And I said, fuck that. And I changed my reality. It took 6 years, but I changed it. So quantum jumping, timeline jumping, because we can
It's just you're destroying the perception of what the reality is now and changing it in a sense, right? You're like
if you're actively doing it, but it's playing with the notion of a multiverse, right? And or that there's different timelines, and there's little tweaks, like, oh, I don't remember that being there. Or people report like little changes and play with the notion that they're like on a different timeline, because there's a theory that we've done this over and over again. Have you seen the movie The Discovery with Jason Segel and Robert Redford?
I'll look that up. The Discovery. I'll watch it.
So Robert Redford, I won't spoil it, but Robert Redford finds a some machine that shows that there's life after death, or there's alternative reality. So people start suiciding themselves, and so it explores again looping, doing things differently, just a little bit differently. So I'll give another example of like, deja vu. When Snuffleupagus kissed me, the first, like, it was Tourette's. It was like, this is not the first time we've kissed, but it came out before. It wasn't logical. And what is that? Is that like a glimpse of doing it again and being invited to do things differently this time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that movie looks interesting.
Yeah, I recommend it.
But I've been looking into this. This is a new topic, but looking into reincarnation, obsession, possession, and all these different books that are coming out and movies that are coming out and news reports. And it's been an interesting deep dive, because the more you like dive into it, the more you see it all over the place, especially in films.
What do you mean in the news? Is anyone talking about, not the mainstream news, reincarnation?
No, they're not talking about reincarnation, but on my research on possession and obsession, reincarnation is in that same category.
Yeah.
And so I've been like, just that's been like the rabbit hole I've been down this month.
That's awesome. I mean, I would be interested too.
Well, so I had somewhat of a near-death experience, but it technically wasn't, because a near-death experience means you died and then came back to life. I was just about to die and I got rushed to the ER. And this catapulted my Space Barada era, where I was going to unlock the secrets with the Illuminati and the secret societies, unlocking the secrets, to go beyond the secrets into a creative project, in a sense, because this would brought me to the toilet book, was because my mom saved all my writings from elementary school, and I wanted to write Yeah, it's so cool. I got them like right
That's
here.
awesome. Yeah.
And I got all these cool books. They're pretty gangsta. Like they're just like violence and just as like a elementary school kid in Vegas. But I totally forgot about that, and I pursued filmmaking and video production. And so I haven't seen this art that I drew in decades. And then after I was looking, I was like, wow, this is amazing. I wanted to write these books, like Goosebump books. And then I go to Nancy Guthrie's house, this lady who was kidnapped, go visit her house. And then I get an asthma attack where I ended up in the ER. And
I think you mentioned a little bit about this.
It's on the
go on,
thumbnail.
go on.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
the thumbnail that you used is this essay I wrote called Something Strange is Happening in Arizona, where I had this mantis dream where these mantises were operating on me, and I didn't remember it until 2 years later.
Wow.
Yeah, it was weird.
Wow.
And secretly, I've been collecting information on other people who have had these mantis encounters in dreams or in other.
I've had it in a DMT.
We're in a DMT state. So you saw the mantis?
So the first time I did DMT, which I was in Venice, California, first I saw Ganesha in fractals, and then Ganesha kind of pulled away, like disappeared, and I saw a praying mantis with a top hat, with the old, those old pesticide canisters.
Right.
And he's like, are you ready? And he pulled it back and he like injected a whole bunch of things in my third eye. So then I saw all these symbols, and then he turned into a Cheshire cat with like a big smile. But yeah, I saw the praying mantis that one time in the DMT.
And
I'm
the
sure
praying mantis did some sort of psychic surgery on you.
yeah, or psychic injection of something.
A psychic injection. So that image that is on the thumbnail, that was sort of what happened in my dream, where I was floating above my body, and I saw these mantises in this dream doing some kind of. And the only thing I could connect it to was that they traveled through the Wi-Fi, and they were doing some sort of soul psyche surgery on me, because 2 years later I remembered it and I was sober. I made a huge change in my life.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So this was just how I was connecting it. And now, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to ask you, what were you doing? How did the memory come back?
That's a great question. I was hanging out with my friend, and we were talking about aliens. And I brought up this dream. I think it came back then. And then he told me that other people have had this. And then I'm Googling it, and people have had the exact same dreams. And so I've been on this hunt privately, learning about like mantis stuff. Not too much. It wasn't a big thing. But my friend bought me the Closer Encounters book, which goes over the mantises. So I read this whole book, and it's not until the last chapter where it dives into the trickster archetype and the mantises in chapter 7, the chapter before the last chapter, to understand other people's experiences. So Terence McKenna also had a mantis one. So it goes over some of the stuff in the symbolism behind the trickster archetype. Now, this is how strange the universe is.
Yes.
Is that after I read this book, and I'm like blown away, because my exact description of how I was trying to word it without knowing anything about aliens or anything, the exact same description, and this could be verified on my mantis videos that I made as a joke. Like, I made these videos. I'm like, this is so funny. Like, I'm going to make a mantis thing. That it's the same hyperdimensional type portal that is explained through the Cthulhu type of octopus, or a mantis, or the shape-shifting trickster archetype. It was like the exact same thing that other people experience. And I was like, man, this is super strange. And then I go to Sedona and I find a book called Stalking the Trickster. And I'm reading this book and it's insane and funny. But I read a book by the same author about the Illuminati cows. So I was diving into the cow information. It was called Stalking the Cattle or something like that. I don't remember.
Really?
But this freaking guy that authored the book lived in Sedona and died in Sedona after he released the Trickster book. And then I'm reading this book and I almost die. And so all this strange stuff is happening.
How old were you?
When
Were you 29?
When this happened recently?
Yeah.
This was it was this year.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know I'm getting kind of.
No, it's okay. I didn't know that the mantis was considered a low-key trickster.
Yeah.
That's very interesting because it's also a prevalent symbol or creature in the DMT ceremonies or DMT. And now there's a whole bunch of people that are doing IV DMT for prolonged to kind of like map out the whole world. It's wild.
So there's this other book that's in the Illuminati toilet book where it goes over the Belphegor prime number. Belphegor is the toilet demon going back to ancient Acadia of Solok, where they changed it from the ancient Akkadian toilet demon. Then the rabbis changed it to Belphegor, and then the Christians took that from the rabbis and called it Belphegor. There's famous plays written about it by Niccolo Machiavelli, where he goes to find love. And this book called like Psychedelics and Sushi, this guy was interviewing people on these DMT trips and these psychedelic trips, because I'm sober. I don't do any of that stuff. I when I was younger, like in middle school, I did that, but there's also a correlation to sobriety too, to all of this, because if you're addicted to something, you're possessed in a sense, where there's an obsession that takes over. That Carl Jung said the only way to conquer is in Latin, spiritus via spiritus. So it's a higher spirit takes over the lower spirit, and something like that. I'm probably not saying it totally correct.
To get rid of the obsession or the addiction?
Yes, because it's a dual occupancy in a lot of ways, just like a possession, where the host wants to stop drinking or drugging, but can't. They want to, though. So it is in the same kind of like ballpark as this movie Obsession, where the girl through the One Wish Willow gets her body possessed by another entity, but she's still in there and she kind of comes out sometimes. And the same thing in the movie Get Out, where they get sent into the sunken place, but through a flash of light, they can get out of that and go back into their body. So there's this dual occupancy. And this goes all the way back. I was asking the rabbi about it, and I was like, what does the Torah say, or the Talmud or whatever about this? And he says, oh, no, there's the daibak that goes into this clinging spirit. So this stuff goes back a long time. All these
actually, sorry, I something popped up on my stream about Sumerian texts talking about parasites, and I'm seeing this like kind of theme of like normalizing parasites, and even on TikTok, for instance, now one of their whatever features for in the edits is like zombie AI. So the zombies, it's like, to normalize it, that if we're living with a bunch of non-conscious humans, are they going to know that another person is not conscious? No, because they're just going through their autopilot life, right? While some of us are actively wanting to expand our consciousness, then there's people that are being riddled or controlled. So I believe you have to be vigilant, especially, let's say, during the full moon. If now there is like the Cyclospora, I don't know how much of it is BS or how much of it, I still can't find out where did this get created? Where was Cyclospora? Because, you know, ground zero, patient zero, it's always in all of these stories is nebulous. You don't know who, but I just see this theme emerging of being, like you're saying, possessed or controlled, but not fully even, but still, would you want to consciously be controlled by something else at all?
And also on the eclipse and these full moons, there's more activity with the bacteria. And
they have their sex parties. They have the sex parties in your body. They do.
Yeah. No, and that's before the show, I was studying how Cyclospora does their mating sex rituals in the body before they. It's funny, yeah.
I mean, but then also the crap when the parasite poops, that's toxic. That also lends to the inflammation, right? It's like someone could be not heavy, but they have inflammation, which is coming from somewhere. Where inflammation is like the number one step towards disease. So
I feel like the solution here is just don't have a salad bar at the orgy.
Well, absolutely, don't have a salad bar at the orgy, but or any orgies.
Have a buffet at the orgy.
Yeah, but it might be. Who knows how easily this? I don't know how Cyclospora. It goes through the waterways, so you have to eat something. But like I said, this plumber did not eat bad lettuce, and he was working. So if there's a cut, I don't know exactly.
Yeah, but like if he leaned down while he was working and it got on his knee, and then even after he washed his hands, and then he went and like brushed against his knee with his hand, and then ate like an apple, that's all it needs. All you need to do is just touch your mouth one time when it's anywhere else on you.
Yeah, and that with Cyclospora, that after the explosive diarrhea stage, that you'll feel better. Then you'll feel like crap. And I find it very interesting. Someone like me, who I'm allergic to all antibiotics, I rely on silver. That how will they treat the Cyclospora? You need a specific, supposedly, test. And there again, how weird is it to give antibiotics for a parasite? It shows that there must be something on the parasite that they gain a function for bacteria. That's what comes to my mind. I looked into it yet fully.
Yeah, please update me when you figure that out. You know, because the whole Cyclospora thing in the beginning of the year during the Super Bowl, they were showing all these toilet commercials. There must have been 4 to 5 different toilet commercials. Marshall McLuhan calls this an early distant warning system, preparing society for what's to come, predictive programming. And then during the year, it has been nothing but toilet stuff. And so
Can you show us anything? Like, can you show us any image? Like, what are they showing?
Sure.
Actual toilet company commercials or people characters on the can?
Sure. Not toilet company commercials, just like William Shatner and his fiber and chatting like a joke. Here, I'll pull it up. Illuminated toilets.
And then as you pull it up, what have you heard the rumor that in the days of Tartaria that there were no bathrooms, and so
yes,
we didn't poop?
Yeah, I've heard that.
What's your take on that?
I don't really have a take on that.
I think it's silly. I'll say it.
Yeah. It is silly
that we didn't silly. Poop. I think it's ridiculous. Yeah.
Unless we were without a body, we were conscious without.
In that case, though, you're burying the lead. If the lead is, hey, people didn't used to poop. I think it's far more interesting to be like, hey, people
Right.
used to not be confined to the physical realm, right? Like, why would that
Right.
be? People didn't used to poop.
Yeah. Right. But what is there any truth that in the art Tartarian edifices there were no that there were no toilets? I mean, isn't that an established? Have you found that, Donut, in your history? That way
You
back,
know,
like
I,
where they
I
look.
I've heard about it, but I I didn't go down that pellet trail.
Okay, okay,
So
okay.
yeah. I did interview a woman though years ago who went over it, and she had some interesting stuff that I think on my Rumble.
About Tartaria and toilets.
It was no, not toilets, just about like the old days, and it was an interesting podcast. But yeah, I don't really know anything about it.
I
Oh,
mean,
here.
if you think about the smart toilets compared to, let's say, squatting in Asia over some, what a disparity of. Because I mean, I'm sure you've traveled back in the day where you have to squat and it's hella nasty hole
Uh,
compared to $50,000 porcelain throne. Like I joked, is it like, this is something crude. Like, what are the features of this 50K toilet?
I specifically plan my vacations around not having to squat over a hole in the ground. So maybe
Right.
that makes me uncultured, but I'm willing to be uncultured.
I got the pictures ready now. I'll share the screen. Share screen,
Yeah,
and
they did
it's
genetically modify the Lyme parasite. I suggest you read a Sleeper Agent, who they stole his work and made it bid in Adam Finnegan. Sorry.
so this slide right here is what brought me into the Illuminati toilet information. It wasn't something, it was a big risk to take because I podcast with some credible people, and to bet my entire career, my entire 6 years of talking about what's going on, I doubled down on the toilet stuff because of the Super Bowl. These are 4 different commercials
Okay.
showing toilets during the Super Bowl this year, in the beginning of the year. And this is what gave me the confidence to go down this path of the Illuminati toilet stuff. And then after this happened, there was all these news reports about the toilets malfunctioning in space and on ships as well. So it was like, oh, that's strange. And then the biggest story where the president's being asked about diarrhea, cyclosporiasis, happens in the middle of the year. And so this whole year has been about poop. So those are the slides.
Yeah, it's actually, it's fascinating that I really would like to look to see what these $50,000 toilets actually
Oh,
do.
they're excellent. Yeah. So
They massage your booty
they sort of,
and other things.
they warm it up. I was in Japan, and this could be kind of what also facilitated my interest in the toilets, because these Japanese toilets are so sophisticated and really incredible. You walk into the bathroom, the toilet will lift its seat for you, and you sit on the toilet, and it's warm and it's nice and cozy, and then it cleans you. On top of that, then you get up, and then it will close the seat. You don't do anything. It's such a clean society.
You mean it has a bidet? Like, I have a bidet installed in.
Yeah, they got a. I would even consider a bidet. I would consider it like a precise blast
Right.
to clean everything up.
Why aren't bidets like? Why aren't those normalized? Like, why is it when you go to Europe that like it's in Italy? It's there would be a toilet right next door. I mean, a side toilet. So why is it not normalized here?
I have no idea. The
'Cause
South
it
Park.
feels a little gay.
It feels gay. Really interesting to have a
I
clean
think that's
asshole.
what it is. I think it's legitimately that's probably the big resistance is that it's perceived as a little bit gay.
Wow. I guess in doing an enema, a coffee enema, is that also?
I mean, just having something sprayed up into your butthole, I think challenges a lot of people's relationship with themselves and everything that they've been taught about themselves, right? And the other thing too is that toilet paper is big business. Look at how people were
Oh
literally
yeah.
willing to get into physical altercations over, a piece of cloth that they were going to rub their butt on, right? It's funny that was a hill that some people would be literally, willing to die on.
I would even say that it goes psychologically into some of the stages of development with the anal stage as well. I'm sure that
Wow.
there could be some stuff with that on top of having another source clean the buttocks rather than one's own
Well,
hand.
that's where the three seashells come over.
And
What?
that's the demolition. That's straight
What do you
connection
mean
to
three
talk about.
seashells? What
She
do you
doesn't
mean?
know about the three seashells.
I don't.
Tell us about it.
Tell us.
The three seashells is part of the singularity, I believe, because that's also in Demolition Man. Demolition Man, they've replaced both bidets and toilet paper with these three seashells.
Thanks for that message, Jimmy. I'm definitely not going to bring that on the.
And also a Taco Bell reigns supreme.
Oh, sorry, Jimmy's message just. Well, I will say that people have anal. They have there's issues around. Let's say because I really encourage enemas, and there's a lot of resistance from because I guess perception because it's seen as gay when we all have buttholes. And who wouldn't want like I'm like cat want to be like clean. So a bidet is like bidet squatty potty and the bidet doesn't that's what I'm saying 50K is obviously the 50K toilet here in America probably is different than the one you experienced in Japan. So I have to look up like what features does it take you for a drive? Like what?
Well, Drake purchased some of these 50K toilets for DJ Khaled for his 47th birthday. And
What are they made out of gold? Is that why? Is it like a diamond studded?
You could just customize it, play music for you. Like when you're going to the bathroom, it could play Tupac while you're going piss, So it's like just very cozy and comfortable.
And they take photos and they do like AI analysis and stuff to like give you a heads up if the AI thinks it saw something concerning.
Yeah, which is this is the crucial part of is it connected to like 911 or a database or something where it'll say we have identified that you have Cyclospora, right? Like imagine that's
Yeah, totally can. And thinking about this for over a year, my conclusion is that that's a big part of it. Yes, but to be able to utilize the toilet via two authentic verification, where if you want to use the flush,
wow.
it would need to scan the anal. Well, if you wanted to use the toilet, it would scan the anal print so it knows who's using it. But the flush would be the second layer of verification, so you can utilize the water because, of some sort of water type of crisis. That
Well, speaking of that, the data centers, we had discussed the notion of the water holds memory, and so the use of the water and the how that blends into the wastewater issues that we're supposedly seeing.
Yeah, see, there's got to be a connection to all of that too, right? With the water in the, Zuckerberg recently just purchased a castle on a lake, and
Where?
in some town, I don't know, in some other country, and he purchases his castle on this bed of water, right? This huge lake, and I believe the reason he purchased this castle, which had this like murder room in it, I don't think it was for the murder room. I think it was for the body of water for some sort of system that he's built, and he just put it in the castle because it's a fortress, so it will protect it. But I believe like in CERN is built on the Geneva Lake. So the water plays a huge role in the system somehow.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know why.
These data centers, the obscene amount of water that it takes is just, given the BS that they're pushing on global climate change, how are they even justifying all this water use?
I've heard counter arguments as well that that's all not even true with the water stuff. That's could be. Now I don't know, but I've heard counter arguments from some tech podcasts that they don't really use the water for these data centers, and then this new report just came out that there's like over 200,000 foreign bots pushing information against data centers. So I don't know really what's going on.
Well, they're using the water for cooling, for water cooling. But what happens is that it's not like the water becomes tainted, but it can elevate the temperature in nearby water by just half a degree in some cases. Most of the time, they're going to be setting up like a closed loop system. So I think the water part is being overplayed compared to everything else that it's generating. Like if you go and actually look at people in those areas when they're first getting built up, the major issue with water is everyone's water pressure drops because now this huge facility and the infrastructure where they go out and they just buy farmland in like a rural area, and now there's this huge data center. Like the infrastructure for 100 miles radius probably is not made for the kind of volume that they're using. And then the other, speaking of volume, the main part that I think is getting buried a little bit is the noise pollution that it creates. Like, there's people that say they can't even think to themselves in their own house because of this buzzing. They just have 24/7 and never shuts down, never gets quieter.
I couldn't be able
to all the animals in the area and all the fish and everything else. So like the water almost feels like a red herring in a way.
I will say that my neighbor has a Tesla, and I have to text him and be like, dude, can you please turn the car? Like, I'm so sensitive to everything that it's jarring. I can't even imagine that hideous sound.
I just love when you're telling him like, hey, like, shut up your Tesla, you're hurting the environment. And he's like, what? That's why I bought this car.
Yeah. It's this, who knows the electromagnetic properties of the car, but the hum is so disturbing. I mean, yes, there's tons of people who are not sensitive to their environment, don't understand epigenetics, and he does think he's doing something beneficial, but it's, I hate Teslas. I think they creep me out.
I live in a smart city, and it's very futuristic and advanced in most places in Arizona. where we have self-driving Google cars, and we have cameras that are all over the place, that when you drive by them, it not just captures the license plate, but it also captures your phone and the information in the phone as you drive by the camera. And so it's like a crazy, super wicked smart city here in Arizona. And people like with the Teslas, they'll leave the dinner party or their orgy or whatever they're doing. They'll leave, and the freaking Tesla will pull up and pick them up. It's insane. Yeah. And also, I asked them, I'm like, like if they're driving and they look off the road, it will tell them you're looking away. So they're being recorded. And then whatever happens, if they're doing something, it's being recorded and stored in their cars. So there's just a lot of strange stuff going on.
The thing is that it's happening so fast that people are not going to know that this is also priming for a social credit score.
Yes.
If I went to the bank, I biked to the bank on the island near Trump, and it was an old building. So I started personally reacting to the mold in the building, waited to speak to the woman and to explain what I've been with, unfortunately, with them, 30 years. So when I spoke to her, she's like, we have a policy, and then I said, did you hear what I shared with you? And said, could you relay what I said back to me? Ma'am. And so anyway, so I left. I made an appointment at another bank. But of course, there's all the cameras. So they saw that I had come in, I made an appointment, and then they canceled the appointment and called me. In any case, it's all going to be when it's convenient, pull up the cameras, and just like 1984.
Is that when you're like, were you sexually assaulted as a child?
Yeah, that's what you got to say to them. It's strange with all the different people that work at places, how they just lockstep in line with whatever. Like at the gym, if you want to bring your friend, they got to take his photo, get his license, got to do all these different things. And in the future, with these smart cars, they're going to be train systems, and it was written about in the technocracy blueprint. So with the whole toilet stuff goes straight into the technocrats, because it's about efficiency and data. It's all about getting the data. And this is the ultimate logging the logs, as Paranoid has coined that term, logging the logs through the toilet. But in the technocracy's blueprints that was written, you would leave your house, like the social credit score stuff, and the car would pull up, you would get in the car. So what's going to happen is you'll leave your pod, the car will pull up, you won't own it, and you'll be happy, and you'll get into the car, and then it will go onto the freeway or the street. But it's going to be very efficient, because it's not going to be like one or two cars driving, smart cars. It's going to be, they're going to be able to drive pretty much almost like an inch next to each other, and it will be and so it'll be a train. It'll be a train of personal pod cars going major distance. At least that's what I've been reading about.
Let's say, just like now the flock cameras, let's say a week later, whatever, you get something in the mail. So what if you're like in some toilet, and then you get some, you have Cyclospora, you have whatever, and then what you have to be obedient to supposedly what's in your poop. Or so, I mean, to me, even the idea of having Amazon just issued a whole bunch of drones, so like, oh, by the end of the year, just in time for Christmas or whatever, there'll be this more pollution, sound pollution of all this. We're going to have drones in the air, like in the movie Fifth Element.
Oh, I love that movie too. I got the worst allergy. Sorry, I keep blowing my nose. I guess.
It's okay, bro.
I'm using toilet paper. I just don't want to be so cringe and show me like using toilet paper to host a podcast.
Yeah, what can't you use a bidet for your nose?
Yeah, well, they got those, right?
Yeah, it's got a neti pot.
Yeah.
I believe everybody. I don't know how people don't have bidets. I want to see if there's any questions for our guests, and then we could tie things up.
Oh gosh, my allergies are so bad.
What is bringing them on?
Oh, it's probably the cyclosporiasis. I have no idea. They come and go.
By the way,
ate at the salad bar at the orgy.
Well, I'm sure salad. People are eating less salad.
Well,
Yeah, don't eat the salad at the orgy.
The thing is that in Arizona, there's a very famous, successful restaurant called Salad and Go. It's most popular restaurant ever, and they just went bankrupt.
Closed? Wow.
Yeah, wow. And I think that there's something more to it.
Yes, I think I would say so. I would say so. As well, there's a comment. Just if TZ Bird, I don't know who said they do enemas. Check out the enemas at Honey Colony. You can use Bee Lady.
Have you ever heard of a honey enema?
I have not. Is that a thing?
I would assume so.
You would? I mean, there's wheat.
Yeah.
I've done wheatgrass enema, coffee enema, but
so why wouldn't there be a honey enema? It seems like the Egyptians probably did it.
What would be the benefits of putting honey up your butthole?
I mean, it would have to be organic, but maybe just the same way that you get the local flora, sort of like all of the bees collecting the pollen might be a good. I mean, I'm not advocating for this, but for allergies,
I'm gonna look into it. Although now it's so increasingly hard to get pollen that's not with pesticides. Although you can find it on Honey Colony.
In this book, I actually write about how that's one of the things that you can't eat in the future because they want you to eat like the sugars, so they won't let you eat the honey and stuff like that. So like the honey is.
Well, I'm sure honey will be. It's already gone up in price, right? So I mean the prices overall are just insane.
I got to get some local honey because when you get the local honey, then the allergies.
Absolutely, or pollen if you have local. Pollen. Do you know that it's reacting something in the house or something in the environment?
That just happens to me like off and on.
You should honestly look into getting like a little bee colony, and you can even do them basically for free. If you start kidnapping just a few bees a day, after like a few weeks, you'll probably have like enough to start a colony.
We're looking this question. We're looking at the date 9 to 5.
Thank you for your super chat.
Yeah.
Please, others, use the super chat. It's the first time that I'm able to have a super chat. Thank you, overlords. Thank you. So
this guy's asking on some September dates. Like we had September 10th, which was the tragic Charlie Kirk assassination, and then you had September 11th, but something we've been looking at is this date 9/5 because Dolly Parton's got the 9 to 5, which Paranoid is connected to. Could be 9/2/5, like 25th of September. A lot of my schizophrenic dot connections have been leading to this date, September 5th, and not just me, but even Project Cheney. So the two big ritualistic dates as of right now would be those two dates. But I know that there will be a full moon, I believe, on the 26th. I got to look into it, though. But that would make sense with the 25 that Paranoid was bringing up. We're working on this calendar, or it should be out.
the calendar.
Year. Yeah, we'll send it to you whenever we get them printed.
Do you have any images to show? Do you have any comments, Paranoid American, about Jimmy's thought question?
This is the old.
Yeah, there's the visual for you. He's got one, but yeah,
Nice.
I think that it would make sense with the Dolly Parton aspect that it's not going to be September 11th. It'll be September 2nd, or September 5th, or September 25th. I'm going on the September 25th because Dolly Parton. This is the end of the 9 to 5, and the end of the 9 to 5 also is being ushered in by AI. AI is literally ending the 9 to 5. So, and I don't think that it's like a practical joke. I think it's just like a weird fractal seam. Like you're seeing the seam of reality where if something happens on 9/5 or 9/25, that it just it's like echoing the exact same thing in like multiple different facets of our reality.
Here's another comment. We just had the 5th anniversary of the attack of Abbey Gate in Kabul. Do you have any comments on that?
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Yes, theoretically you can put a lot of things in. Anything you can think of can be an enema. Yeah, I've done it with wheatgrass, with foodstuffs, like what, honey? No, you won't poop out your mouth. Don't worry.
What about ants?
What about what?
What about ants?
Ants up the butt?
Yeah. You
Crushed
could
ants?
enema anything that you could think of. First thing I thought of was ants.
Yeah, I don't know if...
Like my aunt?
Yeah,
men...
Your aunt in particular.
Coffee enema is not gay. It should be something... Cheese Slicer, are you able to bring up... Are you there? Bring up the coffee enema on Honey Colony. So when Jeff Berwick, Dollar Vigilante, came on my show, he's a proponent of the coffee enemas. So then sold like $1,000 worth of coffee enemas. He went to the same show on his YouTube and got a week in YouTube jail. And so it's two-pronged. One, they have scrubbed Google and places on the benefits of enemas because it's quite cost effective. And when people ask me how I reverse lupus and that I don't look my age, then I'm coffee enemas. I do one every week. So I'm a big fan.
I got
Double shot espresso, 2 pumps vanilla.
Say again?
Double shot espresso, 2 pumps vanilla.
I hold the vanilla. No, it has to be a special coffee. Gasoline enemas? Yeah, that's a joke, right?
I got a friend who detoxes for a living, and he does the coffee enemas, or he does some sort of enema thing, but he goes to the sauna, and he's a detox guy.
It's a biohacker.
He's a biohacker, yeah.
Yeah, like me.
And
so
he met up with Jeff's friend.
Who's Jeff? Oh, Berwick, yes.
Yeah, he met up with his friend Max, and and he went to his like retreat or something. My Jewish friend, and he goes to his retreat, and Max gives him the combo whatever.
Oh yeah. Oh, so this was a long time ago.
This was a long time ago. This must have been like over. Maybe
I forgot that Max Egan used to do combo.
But my friend, he got it, and he got more than Max has ever seen anybody do.
Oh, wow.
Ever.
How many dots did he do?
He's got them because it stays with you.
Yeah, I have them.
Ton. He's got tons. Like there's tons of them. I don't know, maybe 12 or something like that. I don't know, but that's what he does. It's like he's like next level yoga.
Is he in Arizona?
He's in Mexico.
Okay. Yeah, the combo, which is basically they burn you, and then they put the poison, and beforehand you have to drink a lot of water, but it will remove parasites from the bile. It helps cleanse the bile. I just want to show the coffee enemas. If you go on Honey Colony, thank you. Thanks, Cheese Slice. You could use B Lady 15, and this is the whole kit, and then people can sit with me if they
I love the happy bomb. I love that. That's a fun. That's a great
It's a happy bomb.
like brand.
Thank you.
Happy, happy bomb.
I mean, it helps with glutathione production. So glutathione is your master antioxidant, and it helps increase glutathione production by 400% with the coffee. And that is how I reversed my lupus. I had ANA, crazy. ANA is anti-nuclear antibodies, and they were off the charts. And after 2 years of doing twice a week the coffee enema, I was able to heal it's really chemical body burden. So when I see, not to get too graphic, but what comes out like on a weekly basis, I'm like, could you imagine the people who eat like crap and who've never done an enema? There's Hippocrates Institute is not far from here. It's a very shishi, like, I don't know, $5,000 a week. Mostly people have cancer, candida. So I had given a talk there when my B movie came out, and two things. So there was one man who had not pooped in a month, who he basically like almost fell to the ground they were doing colonics, because once you pass the toxins, you feel sick at the time that if you are a toxic person when it comes out, but then you feel so much better. Anyway,
And you said Candida.
Candida, yes.
That was Jack Parsons' Scarlet
Wish.
Woman's name, Candida.
Candida, really?
Yes. Cameron, Candida, and I connect this in the book that there's in the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, how they start floating in the sky and there's all these bubbles, and there's this insect that poops out these bubbles that taste like candy, and they look straight connected, but the Candida connection, I also tied into Beavis and Butthead, because Beavis and Butthead, Beavis goes to the house of Stewart, which is funny because they live in house 322, and they go to the house of Stewart.
Really? That's
Stewart's house. And Beavis eats a bunch of candy and gets possessed by the great Cornholio from Lake Titicaca. And so I was tying that in as a humorous connection.
You said Lake Titicaca? I've been to Lake Titicaca.
That's where the whole world started, was in Lake Titicaca. But this is also interesting because it's not too humorous, even though the show's humorous, but Mike Judge was studying rocketry. And Jack Parsons' Candida, Scarlet Woman, he was doing these sexual magical rituals with in the desert, was also the father of modern day rocketry. So it wouldn't surprise me if Mike Judge, as brilliant as he is, would know about some of these things while he was making those episodes.
Well, in regards to Candida albicans, which is a fungus and comes from the overabundance plethora of sugar eating, and the sugar is stronger or as strong as cocaine. So at that Hippocrates Institute, there was a woman, they have like sulfa, I think, pools, and this woman was admitting that she got on a bike and she biked 2 miles to get a Coke and a Mars bar. So she could have taken the $5,000 and literally flushed it down the toilet. Because once, if you have Candida or this fungus, just a little bit of sugar will trigger the inflammatory response and start the Candida again. And around the full moon, people attest to having these cravings for sugar because the parasites are very active. And, lunacy is a thing. I've seen 3 different times where I've had an interaction, like the Bright Line when I almost got arrested. On the Bright Line was a full moon. I had a man accosted me on the full moon. So I see it's It's lunacy for sure.
It makes people crazy on the full moon.
Makes people crazy. All right, guys, we can wrap it up. It's 5. We're at 332 viewers. Let's get to 333. My favorite number. Tell people where they could find you. Thank you for your time. Where could they find you, Paranoid American?
Mine's easy. You can go to paranoidamerican.com, and I've been working on comic books about conspiracy theories and occult symbolism and a whole bunch of other cool stuff. Custom toys, like you name it, it's there. If it was in a Toys R Us, I've got a version of that, but it's about conspiracies and occult. Just go to paranoidamerican.com, and yeah, you'll grab some fun little mini comics or sticker packs, or who knows, maybe honey enemas. We got to talk after this.
Yeah, let's talk after this. I'm gonna look up into. How about you, Donna? Where can they find you?
You can find me at DOE-NUT, DOE-NUT.
So have you guys been doing more shows with Cheney? It took me a while. I was listening. I'm like, oh, who's that girl? And then so I invited her on my show.
She does a show every Friday with Paranoid, which
you're invited if you want to come tonight, Donut.
I'm invited. I'm going to be going to the movie.
See how he is.
Really?
Yeah, because we were supposed to do the Real Nature Boy thing in a couple hours. But...
Yeah, I'm gonna go jump on that.
Oh, you're going? Okay, good. He didn't let me know until yesterday, so I would have been there.
I've got to go day drink. It was pre-planned.
Yeah.
At least you're honest about it.
I'm going to go see Spider-Man. And so
okay.
I like to go to the movies or watch movies.
I haven't gone to a movie. Yeah. I'm a recluse. I'm looking for a friend to hang out with here in West Palm. But
yeah, you got to just, get out there and find someone. I found Paranoid, so whenever I go to Florida, I have someone to hang out.
Next time Donut's here, I'll let you know. We can all go to Disney.
I want to go out there because there's going to be like a debate kind of conference out there, and I kind of want to go and interview some people. So if everything works out, that'd be cool. But we're coming out with a calendar, and I'm coming out with the toilet movie. So like November is going to be a big month where we'll be doing a lot of stuff, and we got to bring you on.
If you do come to Florida, please let me know.
For sure.
You're near the Orlando area, Thomas?
I'm in Orlando, yeah.
Yeah, so it's near Jimmy, actually. Jimmy's moderator. He's in Howie of the Hills. You know that area?
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I like Florida. I like the people there. They're really cool. And I probably will move there because it's the real Holy Land there.
When would you move there? Where are you now in Arizona?
I'm in Arizona in the desert where DMX was living. Like the Phoenix area. It's just hot. It's hot desert. I love it though.
It's hot here. But there is the ocean. I mean, I'm lucky that I can bike. Just need some company, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to go.
So enjoy the movies. Are you going to be on tonight with Nature Boy?
I think. Well, I'm not going to be on the Nature Boy one because I'm going to be day drinking, but I will be on Secret Society of Good Guys later tonight. I think. I'm pretty sure we're still doing a show.
Is that the name of the show with Cheney?
Yeah, Secret Society of Good Guys. It's every Friday at midnight Eastern. If you just go and search for Project Cheney on Rumble or YouTube or all of the normal places.
Nice.
You would have a blast on that show. You would love it.
I mean, I was having a blast listening to you three the other day. I don't know and then you gave me a shout out, but I don't know that you knew I was in.
I didn't know you were in.
I was commenting. I would love to come. We'll see tonight if there's going to be a big panel. I don't know. Kind of like Union of the Unwanted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, everyone. Thank you for being here. Please like and share the show. If you support my work, any liking, sharing, purchasing. I am offering a soul discovery session. I'm mixing in my intuitive skills, psychic skills with my functional medicine, high pattern recognition, minor in psychology, investigative skills to get deeper and in relation to your soul, and doing also readings depending on what the person comes to me with. But I'm going to be focusing on that and love doing one-on-ones where I can actually see the help, like in real time, of the energy that comes up. Thank you. Yeah, so that's on my Substack. I'm giving 20% off if you use Soul 22. And yeah, I'm really excited about sitting with people if they want to sit with the bee lady one-on-one. Thank you. All right, gentlemen, have a blessed weekend. Thank you, Cheese Slice. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you for watching. Sorry, these kinds of questions, you can sit with me. You could just get 15 minutes, and off the record, I can tell you the things that I know, but I'm not going to comment here.
Thank you so much for having us on. It's always such a fun conversation with you. You're such a great host. I really appreciate it.
Yes, you are.
And thank you for all the guys in the back, Jamie.
Yes, thank you, Jamie. We appreciate you, and Jimmy as well. All right, blessed weekend, everyone, and you could take us away, Cheese Slice.
Something has prompted you to embark on a journey toward a healthier you. Perhaps it was a health scare, or the chemicals you want to avoid in conventional foods, or maybe you simply want more energy. But with so many different types of diets, lifestyle disciplines, pricey supplements that claim they antioxidize your life, and vendors that are more interested in their bottom line, who can you really trust? Honey Colony brings people together who want to optimize their health through trustworthy information and top-notch products. We bring together quality vendors, renowned nutritional experts, and health-conscious people. Learn, share, and shop health.